and the reality of this thing called Christianity based upon the sincerity and commitment they see in us. They're observing our attitudes and our actions, how we react and respond to each other, and they will judge us and the God that we represent by the way we treat one another. How do I know that? Look at the next scripture. Jesus said, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, even as I have loved you, that you love one another. By this, all men will know that you are my disciples." Our unity in worship is a testimony of God's love for the world. And again, in John chapter 17, verse 23, Jesus is speaking to the church, really. He's not just talking to his disciples, but he's addressing the church. He says, "May they, the church, be brought to complete unity, to let the world know that you sent me and have loved them even as you have loved me." Why is unity important? Well, first of all, because Jesus said so. But it's also because it's so rare. You see, unity, it's a commodity that people can't find in many places. There's all kinds of turmoil and upset in the world, and people are looking for a place of peace, joy, a place of unity. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying when I talk about unity. I'm not talking about uniformity. Okay, it's not about all of us doing the same thing, being some kind of mind-numb robots and walking around and doing the same things. But being unified in spirit and purpose doesn't mean that we don't have different opinions and ideas on how to do things. It just means that we have learned to work together in spite of our differences. We have learned to work together in spite of our differences. There is room for diversity in unity, in the presence of love. Our worship can be a powerful influence on the world as they witness people fully engaged in proclaiming the praises of Him who called them out of darkness into His wonderful light. I promise people that are in this service today, having seen the way that we worshiped God, that made a difference in their lives. In fact, there is a very revealing scripture, 1 Corinthians chapter 14, go ahead, Debbie, related to the potential effect of a Christian worship service on an unbeliever. It says, "But if an unbeliever or someone who does not understand comes in while everybody is prophesying," don't let that word throw you. Prophesying in the context of the New Testament, it just means telling the truths of God, of who God is. And so really we could replace that with, if an unbeliever comes in while everyone is worshiping, he will be convinced by all that he is a sinner and will be judged by all. And the secrets of his heart will be laid bare, so that he will fall down and worship God, exclaiming, "God is really among you." That's the potential. The world is watching. And if we want them to desire what we have, we need to live it out in front of them in such a way that it's attractive to them. That doesn't mean that we adopt all the ways of the world and bring them into the church, no. But it means that we love each other sincerely, that we practice that give and take in worship, that our authentic love can become an attraction point for the world. You see, the world is just like us. Our lost friends, brothers and sisters, are just like us. They have that same, as Billy Graham called it, that same God-sized vacuum in their hearts that was made for God that we do. They're just waiting for someone to help them, to show them the correct expression and direction of their worship to Jesus Christ. And so our first audience in worship is God. He is our primary object of worship. But we are also encouraging one another in worship. And we are potentially seeing people come into the kingdom through our worship. What we do on Sunday mornings, folks, before the preaching is as important as what happens in the preaching. And I know Pastor Smoke